Hi, I'm Tom Petty, and I did my microbiology project on Salmonella. Salmonella is a gram-negative rod-shaped bacterium in the same proteobacterial family as E. coli. It's also known as enteric bacteria, or bacteria that basically lives in the intestines. Salmonella is nearly as well studied as E. coli is on a structural, biochemical, and molecular point of view. Salmonella is a bacterium that causes one of the most common intestinal infections in the United States. In humans, salmonella can cause two diseases. First is called salmonellosis, or enteric fever, which results from bacterial invasion that enters the bloodstream and requires treatment with antibiotics. However, it's not that common in the US. It's more frequently occurring in more developing or third world countries. The second is acute gastroenteritis, which results from foodborne infection or intoxication. This bacterium is one of the most common causes of food poisoning. Most individuals who get food poisoning do not follow up with a doctor or don't submit any type of sample to a lab. Therefore, they don't discover the bacteria which is responsible for their illness. Some of its sources are contaminated eggs, poultry, meat, unpasteurized milk or juice, cheese, contaminated raw fruits and vegetables, or even spices and nuts. You can also get infected after handling pets, especially reptiles, such as snakes, turtles, and lizards. The incubation period for salmonella is typically 12 to 72 hours. The first symptoms begin to manifest within the first 6 to 48 hours following consumption of any type of contaminated food or exposure. Some of the symptoms include diarrhea, fever, abdominal cramps, headache, loss of appetite, along with nausea and vomiting. The illness will typically last anywhere from 4 to 7 days. What do I do? The best treatment is to drink fluids and to get rest. Antibiotics may be needed if the infection spreads from the intestines to the bloodstream. It's very important to contact your healthcare provider if you experience any of the following symptoms: diarrhea lasting longer than 3 days with no signs of improvement, a temperature that exceeds 101.5 degrees Fahrenheit, bloody stool, prolonged vomiting that prevents you from keeping liquids down, and it's important to keep in mind some of the signs of dehydration, which include producing very little urine, dry mouth and throat, and dizziness when standing. In order to avoid becoming sick from salmonella, you should avoid eating high-risk foods such as raw or lightly cooked eggs, undercooked ground beef or poultry, and unpasteurized milk. Keep foods refrigerated before cooking. Clean hands with soap and warm water before handling any foods. Clean surfaces before preparing food on them, and separate cooked foods from ready-to-eat foods. It's also important to avoid cross-contamination by not using the same utensils on or placing cooked foods on surfaces where raw foods were previously. So I have a little story about salmonella. I got food poisoning one day, my first semester of nursing actually. Now, I never got tested or had any lab tests done, so I don't know for sure there was salmonella, but from the symptoms I had and the method in which I got it, if I had to guess, it sounds like salmonella. So salmonella is transmitted, as I had said previously, through any type of contaminated food, undercooked beef or poultry, any poorly managed food wasn't cleaned, or if it was on any dirty surfaces that contained any type of raw contaminated meat. My first semester of nursing, it was getting towards the end. It was getting nicer out. And the day before my last clinical, my girlfriend and I decided to go out. We were going to go to this bar during the day, get a few drinks, a few appetizers, sit outside. So we go there, and I should have questioned the food that I got. I got a chicken quesadilla, and first half was fine, but second half you could see a little bit of pink on the chicken. So I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. It's whatever. Who cares? I should have questioned it, sent it back, or just not ate it because I ended up suffering that night. And of course, lucky me, my last clinical day, I wasn't allowed to miss because originally we weren't even supposed to show up, but last minute, my teacher had said that she was going to be evaluated, so she needed students to show up. And being that myself and another student were the only two who had 2 absences in the class, we were the only two who were obligated to go. So this was perfect timing for me to get sick. So at first, it was manageable, thought it was just a little upset stomach, but then throughout the night, into the morning, just nonstop, in and out of the bathroom. Bad stomach cramps, horrible. It was not a fun experience. So all day, I'm trying to call my teacher, tell her, I'm really sick. Is there any way I could, miss it or leave early if I have to? She's not answering her phone. She's not answering my text. So I had to drive to my clinical at 8 in the morning after being sick all night from probably 12 o'clock on, getting no sleep, just in and out of the bathroom. And I get there and I tell her what happened, and her reply is, "Oh, that sucks." I'm like, great, I guess I'm going to have to go through the whole day in and out of the bathroom. But luckily, she had a heart, and she told me I could go home. So basically, the moral of the story is don't go to Burrito Bar. That's where I got sick. Definitely don't trust their food. And 2, if any food that you get is questionable in its color or seems undercooked in any type of way, don't be afraid to send it back or just don't eat it. And make sure you handle your foods properly and clean everything as it should be. And hand washing, very important. And if you do all that, you won't end up like I did. But all right, that's it. Thanks.